Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Friday, February 23rd, basketball slate. There is a ton to get into. I apologize for being out yesterday. Hopefully you followed along on our Google Sheets. It was a 170 unit day, so we will take those every day and won't question why. So we'll get started with the slate for today. There's a bunch of stuff. Only 2 college basketball games we're focused on. Is the college basketball slate's light, but it is huge tomorrow. NBA's good size today and slight tomorrow. So kind of going to get a little bit of both, especially for the weekend. But we'll get you started on Friday. College basketball, Duquesne going against, Fordham. They met earlier in the season. Duquesne with a comfortable win here. Duquesne goes on the road, 3.5 point favorite, depending on where you're getting it at on your book. We do like Duquesne here. Fordham is this is more of a fade of Fordham than for Duquesne. But Fordham just the bottom of the league here. Duquesne's a little bit better. I'm not going to say they're light years ahead better, but definitely a better team here. So only laying 3.5 on the road. We'll take 3.5. We'll take that. So Duquesne minus 1.5 first half, -3 for the game. One more time, Duquesne minus 1.5 first half, -3 for the game. And then the last game of the night on the board is going to be Nevada, San Jose State. San Jose State, definitely, I'm going to say worst team out there. Maybe one of the worst teams in college basketball Division I. Nevada's been on a roll, just came off a 30-point win. They're a big favorite on the road, double-digit favorite, but don't let that fool you. Nevada should cruise in this one. So we're going to take Nevada minus 5.5 first half. And -10 for the game. One more time, Nevada, minus 5.5 first half and -10 for the game. We'll get into the NBA slate. A lot of stuff going on tonight. First game up, Raptors at the Hawks. Hawks, 7.5 point home favorite. Raptors come off a win last night, going back-to-back here. Hawks, first game back since the All-Star break. Both these teams extremely inconsistent is probably the most polite way I can put it. Hawks still one of the worst teams against number in the league. I don't know how the Raptors are as well, or if they just pick out the days that we're betting on them here. So we're staying away from the side and the total on this one. We do like some player props, though. I will tell you this. Trae Young, for some reason, all of a sudden has decided that he's going to let everybody else score, and he'll score if nobody else can hit a shot. So if you're looking at Trae Young props, which is point props been pretty low, so a lot of people have been betting that. It's been one of the bigger bets I know, especially like BetMGM, some places like that. Just be careful on those. He's been a little inconsistent to say the least. But we are going to focus on basically Jalen Johnson tonight. Jalen Johnson over 16.5 points, over 28.5 par. We're also going to take him over 9.5 rebounds and for a double-double. He's got a pretty good matchup here against the Raptors. They don't really cause any problems for him to go into the hole, which Jalen likes to do. He will shoot some threes, but his strength is really driving to the basket. And then we also got Clint Capella, as you'll rarely see him at this number, but over 8.5 rebounds at low juice. So we really like that one as well. So one more time in that Hawks-Raptors matchup, Jalen Johnson over 16.5 points, over 28.5 par, over 9.5 rebounds, and also for a double-double. To be really honest here, we probably didn't need to bet the 9.5 rebounds and the double-double, but the double-double was a little bit more juice. So if you just want to play one of those bets, I'd probably play the double-doubles. I expect him to get 10 points, probably sleepwalking here tonight. It's plus 120 versus plus 110 for him to grab 10 boards. Next game up on the slate, Cavs at the 76ers. I will tell you this, so there wasn't a ton of player props available, and there's still not as we look. I don't know if Buddy Hield's going to play. We haven't seen anything on Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, stuff like that. So make sure you do check out the Google Sheets at the end of the show, as we'll probably have some additional player props we're going to play throughout the day on this one, but nothing available as yet. But the Cavs, I didn't have Donovan Mitchell last night, supposed to play tonight, so that's what we're banking on. Mitchell going to be there. But the 76ers right now, does anybody have any faith in them at all to do anything? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand Maxi's putting up points, but if you really look at like the first quarter when they tend to get down, he is not aggressive at all. If he, he's trying to get everybody else involved, and trust me, I understand that as a team you want the ball to flow, but sometimes when you're the star of what's left, you have to take over. And sometimes you have to assert that from quarter one. And then all of a sudden quarters 2, 3, 4 flow a lot better because everybody's afraid defensively what you're going to do. And they're reacting to you driving the ball, shooting the three, whatever it may be. But when you're passive to begin with, and if your guys aren't hitting shots, man, it can make all of a sudden you're down double digits and you don't know what happened. So this is a tough one here. The 76ers, I honestly think, could fall into the play-in tournament pretty easily. And maybe Embiid decides at that point not to come back because it's pointless because you might have to face Boston in round one. And I don't know if even with Embiid, I don't think they get past Boston. So on that one. Now, we are going to take the Cavs in this matchup. I will tell you this. Make sure you check out and make sure Donovan Mitchell's playing. This is going to be a big key to this one. But we do like the Cavs, minus the 4.5. 229.5 total. We're not sure on that one because I don't know if the 76ers can score. So Cavs minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, minus 4.5 for the game. Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points, 4+ threes. And then we're going back to unders on Tobias Harris. Those have been cashing an alarming rate. His point total keeps coming down. He keeps scoring less. So Tobias Harris under 17.5 points, under 27.5 par, and over 1.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Cavs 76ers matchup, Cavs minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, minus 4.5 for the game. Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points, 4+ three-pointers made. And then the unders one more time on Tobias Harris, under 17.5 points, under 27.5 par, over 1.5 turnovers. Next game up, two more inconsistent teams. It's called the Suns and the Rockets. So the Suns, Dallas is kind of their kryptonite sometimes. The Rockets play extremely well at home. This line's actually come down. This was 4.5. Some books still 4, but it's moving to 3.5 like on DraftKings. Total around 233.5. The Rockets are kind of Jekyll and Hyde. At home, much better defensively than they are on the road. They're starting, Fred VanVleet's come back. Jalen, they got a nice little ball club. Are they a team that can compete for the playoffs right at the moment? Probably not. But they're definitely a team that, can make a little bit of disrupt some guys, some playoff teams at home. As the dogs go crazy here, do apologize about that. But we like the Rockets in this matchup. They're coming off clean. Suns off a back-to-back, off a loss against Dallas yesterday. So we take Rockets plus 1.5 first quarter, plus 2 first half, plus 4 for the game. Jalen Green over 16.5 points, also 2+ threes. Cam Whitmore over 12.5 points, also 2+ threes. Then we've got Amen Thompson over 5.5 rebounds. And then Grayson Allen under 11.5 points, under 18.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined. So we'll give you that Rockets game one more time here. Rockets and Suns. So Rockets plus 1.5 first quarter, plus 2 first half, plus 4 for the game. Jalen Green over 16.5 points, 2+ threes, and over 24.5 par. Cam Whitmore over 12.5 points, 2+ threes. And on that one there, Grayson Allen under 11.5 points, and Grayson Allen under 18.5 par. And then the Suns under the 118.5 team total, and Devin Booker over 1.5 turnovers. He's been a lot better with the ball as of lately, but the Rockets are extremely good at passing lanes and also steals. So we'll go back to the over 1.5 turnovers. His lines came way down. He was 2.5 for a lot of the season, and all of a sudden he's put a week or two together on that. But we're starting to get pretty low on the turnovers. As much as he handles the ball, it's 2 turnovers is not that big a thing anymore in the NBA. Next game up, Thunder at home against the Wizards. Both teams off a back-to-back. Thunder, a huge 16.5 point favorite, biggest number on the board, 242.5 total on that one. So the Thunder have played extremely well, done what they've done. They've been where they're supposed to be all season long. The Wizards continue just to be an absolute crime. They get beat by 30 yesterday, against the Nuggets. and now they go to the Thunder on a back-to-back, so 2 cities in 2 nights. Thunder had on a back-to-back, but both at home. The Wizards can't keep the score down because they tend to not make a lot of shots, and then all of a sudden the favorite team kind of falls asleep almost a little bit, or they get run out of the building early. We expect the Thunder to probably try to run them out of the building early in this particular one, and get a big lead early and then kind of coast. But we are going to take the Thunder tonight. I don't see how. I mean, I understand the point total, so it makes it interesting to take the Wizards, but the more, as they get closer to 20 a lot of times, the worse and worse they do. It seems like at that 10-11 ballpark, maybe they're a good value to play there because they're playing some of the not-so-great teams, or they're playing at home. But we are going to take the Thunder -5 first quarter, -9 first half, -16 for the game. We're going to Denny Avita for the Wizards under 15.5 points. He scored a whopping 5 last night. Kind of expect the same out of him tonight. Don't expect a big game out of him. We are going back to the Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and SGA trains, though, for a lot of plays here. So Jalen Williams over 20.5 points. I understand he didn't get there last night. He ended up too short, but a lot less defense going against tonight than going against the Clippers. And Williams didn't get a lot of shots off last night either. We'll also go Jalen Williams 25-plus points. Jalen Williams 2+ threes. Which is plus 102, amazingly enough, on FanDuel. Jalen Williams over 30.5 par. Then we'll go to Chet Holmgren over 1.5 threes, 3+ blocks. Then also Holmgren over 1.5 turnovers. And that was plus money on DraftKings, amazingly enough. SGA, 2+ threes. He's still plus 210. The guy's been knocking down 2 threes a game pretty consistently, and the books haven't quite caught up yet. Before too long, his number is going to be even money at 2 threes. So keep that in mind on that one. And then also SGA 8+ assists on FanDuel is paying plus 120. I'm assuming he's going to spread the ball out a lot. I don't like his player prop, as I think he might sit the whole fourth quarter. So definitely like the assist total for him tonight as well. So Thunder, one more time, -5 first quarter, -9 first half, -16 for the game. Denny Avita under 15.5 points. Jalen Williams over 20.5 points. And then we'll also sprinkle a little bit on 25+ points, 2+ threes, over 30.5 par on him. Chet Holmgren over 1.5 threes. Holmgren 3+ blocks. And Holmgren over 1.5 turnovers. Then SGA for 2+ threes. And then SGA 8+ assists. So a lot of player props in that particular game. We love the Thunder all season long, and they've been a great cover team for us all season. So continue to ride that mojo and magic there for the Thunder. Next game up. This one, to me, is probably one of the harder ones to handicap. It's because the Grizzlies are involved and the Clippers on a back-to-back road night. So Clippers going to Memphis. They come off a 20-point beating last night of the Thunder. Now they go to Memphis on a back-to-back. Memphis coming back clean from the All-Star break. Clippers are favored by 9. 223 total. I understand the Clippers should be favored near double digits in this game. But if you've really paid attention to how many on the covers, Memphis is mucking a lot of games up and covering a lot of games that you wouldn't think they would be able to. Now, the Clippers are a superior team, no question about it. I mean, if we're looking at talent, this isn't even close. I mean, the Grizzlies weren't as talented if they're fully healthy, let alone being missing Morant, Steven Adams. Then they lost Marcus Smart. Countless dudes, Luke Kennard, all these guys. Like, they lost like a third of their 15-deep lineup. It's absolutely ridiculous on how many injuries they've lost. But the Clippers can sometimes play down to competition a little bit, maybe squeak out a win. But we're not going to play the side of the total. Really, if I'm leaning anywhere and you're wanting some help on which game to actually play, which side to play, I would play Memphis here. Plus the 9. But anyway, we will play some player props in this one. And they start with Paul George unders, as they've been cashing at a fantastic rate for us. So we'll go back to the well again. Paul George under 21.5 points, under 3.5 threes, and under 30.5 par. We'll also play Vince Williams Jr. on the Grizzlies side over 12.5 points and over 1.5 threes. And then we'll go back to Old Reliable, as it cashed again last night. James Harden over 2.5 turnovers, and it's at even money instead of paying a bigger juice. And the Grizzlies, like I said, just muck it up quite a bit. So it's not necessarily that they have a great defense. They play at a slow pace. They can just muck stuff up. And in a half-court offense, he's probably going to have more turnovers than he is on the fast break, right? So one more time in this Grizzlies-Clippers game, Paul George under 21.5 points, under 3.5 threes, under 30.5 par. Harden over 2.5 turnovers. Vince Williams over 12.5 points and over 1.5 three-pointers made. Then we'll get into the next game here for us is going to be on the board as well. Heat at the Pelicans. Pelicans 3-point favorite, 2.5 some spots, right around 219 total. Pelicans come off a big win last night, back-to-back for them, but both games at home. Heat on the road, first game out of the All-Star break. The Pelicans have been one of the best first-half cover teams in the league, if you haven't paid attention to that. But when the number's 3, I even like it more for the game. Zion's kind of taken off here, probably the week before the All-Star game, maybe 2 weeks. Played well last night, had 27. Lot to like with the Pelicans here. They're actually quietly making a run that nobody's really paying attention to for the Western Conference to get in the playoffs. So we do like the Pelicans tonight. We're going to play the Pelicans -0.5 first quarter, -1.5 first half, -3 for the game. We also like Zion tonight, over 23.5 points. And then over 35.5 par, as he's been dishing the ball and getting his 6 to 7 rebounds tonight as well. So 25, 7, and 7, I think is kind of the number we're kind of looking at. 25, 7, and 5 maybe. Easily puts him over that par number. So one more time, Pelicans -0.5 first quarter, -1.5 first half, -3 for the game. Zion over 23.5 points, over 35.5 par. And then we've also got Bam Adebayo. There was quite a discrepancy across the books. So there was a couple spots that had 36.5 par. And then a lot of spots were at 34.5. So we'll take the under 36.5 at DraftKings. A little juicy, like it was like -135 we got it. But a lot of places had them at 34.5. So we'll take that under 36.5 par for him tonight. Next game up, one of the bigger games on the board. Bucks going to Minnesota. T-Wolves, Bucks. T-Wolves had the best. They are the best defense in the league. Okay, I don't think there's much debate about that. The T-Wolves best efficient. You can go defensive rating, efficiency rating, all these different kind of ratings. The Bucks are going to be there at the top. I mean, not the Bucks. Sorry, the Timberwolves are going to be there at the top. They've been fantastic defensively all season long. Their offense sometimes has been a little hard to figure out on who's actually. I mean, the star of the show is Anthony Edwards, I think, but sometimes he is a little passive. They want to go get Gobert involved. They want to get Big Cat involved. And by the time they do that, sometimes Anthony Edwards is kind of like, last 3 minutes of the first quarter, he puts up a bunch of points because the other guys hit the bench. That type of stuff there. Fourth quarter, he normally does extremely well on that. But he is the star of the show there. The Bucks have struggled since Doc Rivers came up. I don't understand it. Doc Rivers didn't seem to understand it either. And the Bucks are in a pinch right now. You want to talk about it? They've got a ton of pressure on them. Here comes Giannis. Seemed like the soft-spoken superstar at the start, and now all of a sudden Giannis makes demands like, "I need upgrades." I like Damian Lillard when he's with Portland, but he is not an upgrade over Drew Holiday. Now, I will say this: offensively, they would be struggling a little bit more without Damian Lillard because Chris Middleton's been gone, and there wasn't a trade available for Chris Middleton. I understand that. I'm there. I bet they wish there was a way that they could have traded Chris Middleton, as he's hurt basically. I'm not going to say all season long, but he's missed more games than he's played, it seems like, this season. After a season he missed, it's been a rough go for him last few years of his career. That being said, we love the T-Wolves tonight. I think they take care of business. They beat them already in Milwaukee, and now they're getting a chance to play them on the road. So we'll take the T-Wolves -1.5 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. Anthony Edwards, his point total's up there tonight, but I think he's going to have a big game as they do not have any perimeter defense or any defense that can really stop Edwards from getting to the hole. So Anthony Edwards over 27.5 points, over 2.5 threes. And that one, Malik Beasley, who we love normally when they're going against not a great defensive team, but Beasley had 3 whopping points in their last game against them. So we'll take under 10.5 points and under 2.5 threes for Beasley tonight. As like I said, he struggled in their last matchup. We also like Giannis under 45.5 par. His point total is one of the lower ones of the season. You'll see it 27.5 going against that number 1D. Gobert over 12.5 rebounds, and Gobert over 1.5 blocks. So one more time, T-Wolves Bucks. T-Wolves minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, minus 4.5 for the game. Anthony Edwards over 27.5 points and over 2.5 3-pointers made. Malik Beasley under 10.5 points, under 2.5 threes. Like I mentioned, he had 3 points in their first matchup. Giannis under 45.5 par. He was well under that in their first matchup. Gobert over 12.5 rebounds and Gobert over 1.5 blocks. All right, we'll get into the next game for the NBA slate. We got 3 games left. Nuggets at the Blazers. So Nuggets are fantastic at home. We should have probably played them instead of the under. We got beat by a few points on that. It happens. The number was huge against the Wizards last night. So, but the Nuggets on a back-to-back, the second half of back-to-backs are not that strong. They're not that strong on the road. They're not that number 1 team that you think about, or the team that won the NBA championship last year. Thank God, because if you want to play the Trailblazers like we're playing tonight, you need all the help you can get. So the Blazers, Scoot's out. They've got multiple dudes out one more time. So it's going to be Anthony Simons, Jeremiah Grant, and if hopefully DeAndre Ayton signs to show up and help them play against the Nuggets. But the Blazers have been pretty decent covering at home. It's not that they're winning a lot of games, but they're double-digit dogs most of the time. So they've been covering some matchups. But we do like the Blazers here at the 9.5. So Blazers +3 first quarter, +5.5 first half, +9.5 for the game. And if the Blazers are going to compete tonight, Anthony Simons is going to have to be a big reason why. So Simons over 23.5 points, over 3.5 threes. Jokic over 2.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Blazers-Nuggets matchup, Blazers +3 in the first quarter, +5.5 first half, +9.5 for the game. Simons over 23.5 points, over 3.5 threes made. Jokic over 2.5 turnovers. That number's down as well. Normally he's at 3.5 pretty consistently, but the book doesn't believe in the Blazers, so we knocked the number down on that side. So that game. Next game up, Hornets at the Warriors. Hornets actually get a win in Salt Lake City. That's how bad the Jazz played last night. They lost to them. It was ugly. Warriors come on. Warriors played well. No LeBron for the Lakers back-to-back, but they are at home. They have a few games to make up, so they're going to have a few. They're going to have some back-to-backs or 4 games in 5 nights that they're going to have to play, or 4 games in 6 nights they're going to have to play here. So we do like the Warriors, though. We like the energy. We like what they're coming out with. They're definitely trying to make a playoff push to get in and get out of this play-in stuff. But it's going to be hard to get out of the play-in for them. But getting to a 7-8 seed is much better than being the 9-10, as you only have to win 1 game versus 2 games. So Warriors, we like tonight, -4 first quarter, -7.5 first half, -12.5 for the game. We think Kuminga's coming back tonight to get on the point roll. Kuminga over 17.5 points and over 24.5 par. Draymond Green, once again, was 6.5, total at 6.5 rebounds on DraftKings, folks. I'm telling you, when it's at 6.5, this thing cashes on the over like crazy. At 7.5, it's a little dicier, but 6.5, and he was only -145. So hammer that one. Draymond Green to make 1+ threes. He's been doing pretty consistently. We'll also sprinkle a little bit on Draymond, 8+ rebounds on that one as well. And then we'll also play Miles Bridges over 1.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Warriors and Hornets matchup. Warriors -4 first quarter, -7.5 first half, -12.5 for the game. Kuminga over 17.5 points, over 24.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined. Draymond Green, 1+ 3-pointer. Draymond over 6.5 rebounds, which is 7+. We'll also sprinkle a little bit on 8+. This was plus money on FanDuel on that one. And then Miles Bridges over 1.5 turnovers. And this should flip to 2.5 turnovers quickly if you don't get in. Just a heads up on that one. Last game of the night in the NBA, Spurs, Lakers. Lines came down. It was 10.5, 11. Even though it opened at 7.5, so Spurs money coming back once we get to that double-digit number. Lakers laying the 10, 241 total. LeBron's supposed to be back tonight. Wembanyama has another 5-block night last night. Now, he doesn't get home to his point total But, did fantastic on the boards, blocks, doing what he's supposed to do. I just wish they would give him a few more minutes. They're still limited in his minutes. I understand why. You don't want the big guy to get hurt. You don't want the future of the franchise, the face of the future of the NBA. I understand all of that. Trust me, I do. But it's really, man, it's like if he could just get 33 minutes, this dude might average like 28 to 30 points with 8 blocks and 15 rebounds. I mean, his stat line might be just, oh my God, like you'd just be salivating over. I mean, we're right there, and he's getting 27, 28 minutes a night. So we're not going to take a side or a total in this matchup here, but we have a ton of player props in this game. They revolve mainly around Anthony Davis and Wemby. So in the two matchups before, Wemby had 30 points in one of the games, 13 in the other. Anthony Davis played one game, did not play the other, had 37 points and a bunch of rebounds as well. So we're kind of focused on those two guys tonight. So we're going to take Wemby. We'll start with Wemby here. Over 22.5 points, over 1.5 threes. We'll also play a little on 3+ threes. Over 9.5 rebounds. We'll also play 12+ rebounds. And then we're also going to take Wemby 3+ blocks, 4+ blocks, and 5+ blocks again. And then we'll play the over 3.5 turnovers. Now, he didn't have a lot of turnovers last night, but the Lakers do cause him a lot. Cause turnover problems with him. So we'll play the over 3.5 turnovers, and that's plus money again. So a good opportunity to make some money without having to outlay as much. Anthony Davis over 24.5 points, over 13.5 rebounds, and over 2.5 blocks for Anthony Davis. And we're probably still going to go back, and we'll probably play some, maybe we'll play an Anthony Davis par bet as well. But a lot of action so far just on basically two players in that game. But we'll roll through those one more time. Anthony Davis over 24.5 points, over 13.5 rebounds, over 2.5 blocks, and then Wembanyama over 22.5 points, over 2+ threes, 3+ threes. Then we'll also take Wemby at 10+ rebounds, 12+ rebounds, Wemby 3+ blocks, 4+ blocks, 5+ blocks, and then over 3.5 turnovers. A lot of people ask why the 5+ blocks. I'll tell you what, it's cashed multiple times here lately, and when you're talking about a number that's normally plus 400 to plus 600, on a single bet, I like those. Those are parlay odds with only needing one thing to happen, and that's block a bunch of shots. And LeBron's going to take the whole AD plays in the paint. These guys, they're not strictly three-point shooters like they are some other teams where it's harder for Wemby to get blocks. So this is another opportunity, I think, for Wembanyama to kind of load up the block train, and he is fantastic at it. He probably will lead the league in blocks at the end of the year. And to be really honest, they should really look at him for Defensive Player of the Year, as he gets a bunch of steals as well. So if you're looking at Wembanyama steal props, it's also probably a good area to maximize. So make sure you check those out. But so that's a list of what we went through, what we got in the NBA, and then also the couple games in college that we're on. Make sure at the end of every episode that we do, there is a link to our Google Sheet. That is a ledger of all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units we placed, what book we placed them at, then obviously the results. So it'll say docs.google.spreadsheet, a bunch of other stuff behind it. Just click into that link. There are multiple tabs once you get in there. So let me give you a little bit of tutorial on that. There's football from 22-23. There's baseball from 23. Football that just ended, 23-24. Basketball, obviously, that we're in at 23-24. We also have a 24 baseball because we've made a lot of futures plays already. We've probably got, about 18 of those. So if you're into long-term futures for baseball, we also have a 2024 golf, Formula One, UFC, NASCAR, all this stuff kind of together. We were dominating there until this week of golf, and we found out what one bad golfer would do when you focus on there. But it happens. It's all right. Not the end of the world on that one, but a lot of stuff to look through, a lot of information, a lot of bets, and definitely see the unit differences that we place on things. Check that out because it's important. You can't go bet Wemby 5+ blocks at the same unit that you're taking them at 3+ blocks. Otherwise, don't play the 3+ blocks. I mean, you really got to watch what you're doing there. We're kind of staggering those, ladder approach type of thing. Like, if you got a guy you're looking at rebounds, you look at 6, 8, 10, 12, so on and so forth, and what he can do rebounding wise. Same thing that we kind of do there, but make sure you do pay attention to how those are staggered a little bit. Then also make sure you subscribe and get notifications to the YouTube channel. Once you hit that subscribe button, you get all of our all of our videos are easy to find on your subscription tab. And when you turn those notifications on, basically you get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of bets. And that'll give you plenty of time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window to make some money. That's what we're here for, folks. It's real simple. We're here because we love sports and because we love to make money. So might as well do both. Lay out the opportunity and blueprint for you to do the same. I understand not everybody's going to play every play that we do. Perfectly fine. But a lot of times what you need to do is if you listen to 2 or 3 different people and then match them up with what you like, that should tell you that those are probably the bets you need to go play and go make those wagers. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.